I refused to change my son's dietary restrictions to make holiday dinner easier for my sister. My son Eli was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when he was 6. He's 11 now, so we've had 5 years of practice. I know how to carb count. I know how to manage a holiday table. I know how to let him be a normal kid at a party while still keeping him safe. What I don't know how to do is pretend that's not our life just because my sister finds it inconvenient. So some background. Eli's restrictions aren't allergies. They're more about timing and quantity. He can eat pretty much anything if we plan around it. We count carbs. We dose insulin. We check his blood sugar before and after. It's not dramatic. It's just what we do. We've been doing it at every family event for 5 years without any real issue. My sister Nadia is hosting Thanksgiving this year for the first time. She's been excited about it since August, which honestly I think should have been my first warning. She sent a menu in a shared notes document. I'm not even joking. A shared notes document with fonts and everything. About 3 weeks before the holiday she calls me, and I can tell immediately she's been building up to something because she starts with, "So I've been thinking about the menu." I said okay. She goes, "I want everything to be easy and relaxed, you know? No stress." I said that sounds great. Then she gets to it. She says, "I was hoping you could just let Eli eat normally this year. Like not make it a whole thing. It stresses me out when you're over there checking his blood sugar at the table because it makes everyone uncomfortable." I sat there for a second. I said, "Nadia, he has type 1 diabetes. I can't just let him eat normally without checking his blood sugar. That's not how it works." She said she knew that, but couldn't I just do it in the bathroom or something so it wasn't part of the meal? I asked her if she was serious. She said she just didn't want the holiday to feel clinical. I told her Eli checks his blood sugar at every meal. He's done it at her table before. It takes maybe 45 seconds. She said, "I know, but this year feels different because I'm hosting and I want it to feel special." I said, "It does feel special. We're all there together. Eli's part of that." She went quiet for a second and then said maybe I was being oversensitive. I let it go. I figured she was stressed about hosting and it would be fine once we were actually there. Then 2 days before Thanksgiving, she texts me. She says she's been thinking about the menu and she's doing a big dessert spread, lots of pies, and she just wants everyone to be able to dig in without it being a whole calculation. She says she loves Eli, but she doesn't want him to feel singled out and thinks if we just let him have whatever he wants like a normal kid, it'll actually be better for him emotionally. I called her instead of texting back because I didn't trust myself to keep it short in writing. I said, "Eli does not feel singled out. He's been managing this since 1st grade. He knows how to handle dessert at a party. This is not new." She said, "But wouldn't it be nice for him to just be a kid for one day?" I said, "He is a kid every day. His insulin pump doesn't change that. What would actually hurt him is letting him eat untracked carbs at a holiday meal and then spending the rest of the night managing a blood sugar spike. That's not a nice day for him." She said I was making her feel like a bad person. I said I wasn't. I was just explaining how his condition works. She said she'd done some reading and that some families with diabetic kids are more relaxed about it. I told her those families know their own kids. I know mine. She got off the phone and didn't text me for 2 days. My mom called me the next morning. She said Nadia was upset and felt like I was coming in and taking over her holiday before it even started. I said all I'd done was refuse to stop monitoring my child's chronic illness. My mom said, "I know, but you know how Nadia gets when she's stressed." I said I did, but this wasn't something I could compromise on. We went to dinner. I counted Eli's carbs. I dosed his insulin. I checked his blood sugar at the table once before dessert, which he does himself now with his kit. Takes about a minute. He asked Nadia if she had any sugar-free options, and she'd actually made one pie with a low sugar filling, which I thought was genuinely kind, and I told her so. After the kids went to play, Nadia came and sat next to me and said, "See, it wasn't a big deal." I said it was never going to be a big deal. She said, "You could have just trusted me." I looked at her and said, "I trust you completely. I just don't skip his insulin for anyone." She hasn't brought it up again. I don't think she'll volunteer to host Christmas.